Welcome to episode 7, where we do steering stuff and shifter stuff and actually put some panels back on, wiring as well, and then put some panels back on and make it look like a truck again. Let's get on. Back onto the steering. So right now we are prepping the 78 or 79 column for its removal of its crappy little plastic bush and this bearing replacement, and that's all the details of it. 2 slide on, and then it's going to take a little bit of tapping to go in there, and then 3 plug welds around the sides on this outer casing, which will slide into there, and then this will be nice and tight at the bottom. And then got to clean up that U-joint, and then that is going to go straight on there like that. There you go, one-handed filming, super pro. Quick tap-a-rooney. That's where the welds are going to go. 1, 2 and 3 all the way around, and super smashing lovely. And there we go, all welded in. As you can see, I bare metaled that to put my ground, because I was going to ground it there, but the weld being there, the bearing being there, and the ground being there, sometimes bearings don't like it. I think they feel like they're being left out, so they like to throw a little bit of a collie wobbler and weld themselves together or something like that. So I like to keep the bearings happy, keeping everybody happy as always. So right next, going to be cleaning up the universal joint up there and then onto there. So the column is in. Now while was doing this, I got completely sidetracked with the shifter options and what we're going to do, because the lever which is there pulls forward to change the gears to go into from park to drive, and this wants to push. That lever wants to push. So that wants to be pulled, that wants to be pushed. Now I was thinking about some sort of bell crank situation down here somehow, but so this lever wants to pull. It's in park right now and it wants to go down. So then I looked at this cable and I thought, this cable is the Crown Vic cable and it's so long. But then I thought, what happens if this cable does something like that? The cable stays the same length. That gets mounted somewhere, and then that goes to the actual shifter mechanism, and then the cable gets pulled like it's meant to. So yeah, my mind is running rampant right now. Okay, so the steering is in. That's all done. Now we've gone from and the bearings in and all that good stuff. That's all finished now. The truck is originally a bump with manual steering, and I've gone to a dent column with power steering, and that doesn't fit anymore, so that's going to be a trip to the scrapyard. Now, still on with my theory of running this cable in some sort of loop and coming round this way to turn this selector from the truck into kind of like a pull selector as opposed to a push selector, which is what it's actually designed to be. Now originally I was going to run it up through this, there's a drain hole here, and I was going to bring it out here to try and be all stealthy and hide it, but the cable isn't long enough, so it's going to have to come here somehow, and so we're going to have to fabricate the actual Crown Vic nipple thing onto this area somewhere to do with the truck selector, and then this is the cable stay for the outer cable, if you will. Now that's going to have to be, I don't know, probably fabricated somewhere, attached to the actual firewall somewhere around here. But what I'm going to have to do is put the booster in. I'm going to put the inner fender on as well, just to see what kind of clearance I've got and where I can actually put this stay, because I think that's going to be the issue. It's going to be super tight because I've got a certain amount of movement within this cable, but not enough movement, I don't think, because this actual selector here goes so far around. I don't think this movement is enough So I may have to come shorter, come further back, I don't know, not figured that out yet, but that's the next job we're on with right now. Okay, the shifter situation. So you can see the shifter cable from the original Crown Vic looping all the way around here, which can be hidden. This whole area can be hidden with in a wing, in a fender. Now, what I've done, you can see all the welding on the universal joint. Lots of weld, lots of heat, not going anywhere, don't panic. So there was originally a dog leg here for the original truck shifter, so straightened it because I knew I was going to need it further back, and just tacked it on for now to see what was going on. And then I knew that I was going to need some sort of stay that was going to be in this area, but this shifter thing is going to have to be about 3/4 of an inch further back. I'm going to have to trim a Crown Vic booster stud here to give this more room to actually mount further up, further close to here, because what's happening as the shift mechanism is pulling round, this is making contact with this part. So the further up and round this goes, the further it'll go. I'm getting down to 1, I'm getting it down to 2, so it's going past drive, it's going into 2, but it's not going to go into 1 because this is making contact with this as the shifter is pulling round. So I'm going to move that 3/4 of an inch back, trim the booster stud, and that'll give me more room to figure out whether I can move this further up. Okay, version 2. So I think we actually have the part on the shifter mechanism itself. I think we kind of have that finalized. If you can see it in there, that's the step on it. Now, originally I thought that this stay was going to be, you know, I don't know, somewhere around here, something like that. But to keep it actually in line with the shifter, I think it's going to be somewhere more in this position, which is leading me to believe that I'm going to be running it off the actual booster bracket, because it's going to have to stand off the actual firewall that much. So that's the next thing. We're just trying to figure out, you know, I'm just trying to keep it, if you can see that, I'm trying to keep the cable as in line as I can, so I'm not stressing that, you know, the knuckle, the press on knuckle. So yeah, the actual bracket itself I think is going to be kind of like, wish I could mount it to the booster itself, but it's going to have to go on higher, so I'm going to cut that about there, so this actual cable can go higher, so it's got more throw as it goes over the top of the actual column itself. So right now I'm 2 hours in, I'm on version 3 of that shifter mechanism there. Now it's still not right because I'm still getting fouling of the actual cable coming across here and hitting this shaft before it goes all the way to the first gear position. It's fouling there. So what I think I'm going to do is, I have room to lengthen. It's usually a pretty old Jeep that goes past that sounds like that. I think I have plenty of room here, I think, to lengthen this. So I'm going to get, obviously it clicks on the cable that do the gear position. So I may be well off on the actual selector showing the right gears on the actual steering shaft, it's on the steering wheel itself, but I can print something up for that. I'm going to lengthen this, I think, so there's less movement on this actual shaft to pull the cable, so it won't go as far around, but I'll be able to get all gears, I think. Okay, version 4 coming up. Yesterday we had a pretty good day. It was a little bitty and picky and finicky, but apart from that it was pretty good. So we got the fuse box mounted to clear the actual hood hinge, because I don't know how that's going to concertina down within that hinge down here, so I thought I'll just get it out of the way so that we're not going to have problems later on with the hinge. So I just basically mounted it on just some box section down there, and then same with this, mounted the hard mounted the actual ECU again out of line of the actual hinge because I don't know where that's going to go, and also I've got room for the air intake tube to come down here. It actually comes over the top of the ECU, sits a bit higher up than that. So that's that. So right now I'm just tidying up the wiring. Bought a ton of zip ties, so I'm just now starting to tidy it all up. You know,
loom it with zip ties for now, get a battery, and, you know, obviously have it running bare before I start throwing a ton of tape at it. So those those loom bulkhead connections were all attached right now. So once I've done in the engine bay, obviously I'll start to work my way in here and figure all that out. Fun times. Since I've last seen you guys, I had a little bit of a getaway with my beautiful wife for our anniversary. Now I'm back and recharged. Swapped the grill over on the orange truck back to the 69-ish grill that she deserves. And that grill on the orange truck is now on here because we have had plenty of progress on this old girl. Now obviously I finished up the shifter mechanism, seems to be working fine, but I didn't film any of it, so it's kind of in there. And I've got to whip the booster off, so I'll be able to show a clearer picture of what's gone on there. But we mounted up the ECU, that's done. We mounted up the fuse box out, that's done. Got a beautiful Econo Power battery from the guys up at, completely blanked on the name right now. What's the name? I can't think of it. Whatever, they were great. So basically this battery has the post the other way around. Because I'm mounting it this way, the positive is at this end and the negative at this end, which is the opposite way to a Crown Vic battery. It's physically larger than a Crown Vic battery because I've got more height, and gives approximately the same power. So that was awesome. The front's on, the front's bolted up, the grill's on, bumpers on, flashers are on. I've got two low offset old Crown Vic front wheels because I'm battling tyres right now going down because the car's been standing for so long and the tyres are all old. So I've got two old Crown Vic front wheels with a low offset, which really fall out the front wheel arches, which I kind of love. And then that's gone flat. So I'm going to be putting my spare wheel, which is somewhere over there, onto the back, so we can actually move her. And then, oh yeah, the wiring. God, how can I get that? See if I can get you guys a decent picture. The wiring's in, all the earths are done. Yeah, it's kind of messy. I'm still using the actual Crown Vic ignition switch. I've yet to swap that over, or I might make the Crown Vic switch work. And then I'm running the wiring that runs along the sill of the Crown Vic. I'm actually running underneath this cab to the back. That's the fuel pump wiring, fuel pump cutoff solenoid, and fuel pump. Oh no, the big switch thing that makes fuel pump work. That thing. Running that underneath. I was gonna actually put those items in the cab, but the wiring's now underneath, so I may do a waterproof box underneath. Although saying that, those items are actually under the bed on that truck, and it's been running rain, and it's been fine. So, I don't know. They may just stay underneath the truck. Who knows? It's a journey of discovery. So today, more progress, more terrible lighting, sun and shadows and stuff. So lights are going to be going on. Transmission cooler lines, and a few other things. Then I'm going to do a roadkill list. They always write a list on cardboard, and it always seems very professional. Well, more professional than me, so I think we'll do one of those. And here it is. Okay, so brake lines. The two that go to the actual master cylinder, I need to modify the bends so they will now meet because the master cylinder is higher up than it was in the Vic. Bought that tool from Harbour Freight. I had one before and I couldn't find it, so I bought another one because it was awesome. Then we're going to go to AutoZone, pick up some soft transmission lines to extend around the frame rail. Gonna mount the headlamps, do the battery wiring, gonna bleed the brakes. I'm gonna have to buy some sort of vacuum kit because I'm on my own and nobody here to pump it. And then swap the wheels, and then she should be mobile. Probably get her out at that point, and then do a for sale video for the orange truck. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here. She is gonna be for sale. Brake pipes, top of the list. They're a little ugly, but they work. That's done. So. Headlights next. One thing you're gonna run into is that. Okay, back in a second. So one issue you're gonna run into is that hole is too small for that to go through, and the back of this bucket. God, that was my northern accent coming out. Back of this bucket is too shallow, if you know what I mean. So if you do that, you see the plastic touches this back ring before it actually seats down into the bucket itself. So you have to open it up around this area there, which I shall do now. Well, that's it for this episode. I think I'm going to leave this one here. I really wanted it running today so badly, but I've been thwarted, and I shall show you what with. So, top of the roadkill list was brake lines. So say they're a little squirrely, but they're all together and they're working. Tranny lines, we did that. That's down here, you can see there. So I couldn't run the hard lines up the way they wanted to with moving the radiator back, so I had to run some soft lines. I think next time when I build one for myself, I'm going to go full Jap style. I think I'm going to run some soft lines up here and just mount an oil cooler there. You know, like on the old like Nissan Skylines and stuff like that. I won't really. I'm never going to do that. Okay, headlamps. Modified buckets, they're all in. I didn't wire up the LEDs because I just didn't. So they're all there and they're all in. Bled the brakes. I gravity bled the brakes, and fluid is draining through pretty regularly, but no pedal yet. So on we go. Swap the wheels. So we have air in all the tires, so she's at least mobile. Diff oil, I'm not going to do the diff oil until it's time to move it, because it leaks out so unbelievably bloody quickly that it's a waste of money. And the for sale video, yeah, that didn't get done. She's still somebody did inquire about her, so we're going to see what they think and want to do, so we'll see how that goes. And my one major thwartment, whether that's a word or not, now that we've got the actual brake lines hooked up, I went to put the intake on and, oh look, no longer does it fit. That has been the thwartment of the day. So, what I'm actually going to be doing is, if my light will sit still, there we go. I'm going to go online now and order a 90 to come out here down to about here. Then I'm going to do a 45 down to about here. And then 45 about that point at the front of the valve cover, and then I'm going to do the airflow meter thing, plug, electrical doohickey, and then they'll be going to a cone filter, which is going to sit right around where that rag is. So that's that. All the wiring is done inside. Obviously I've got to hook all that shenanigans back up. A few more earths to do, and then we shall have action. We shall have action from the old girl. So, thank you for watching episode 7, which is officially going to be the Roadkill List episode 7. And in episode 8, we are going to be having bed action for definite and mobility. She'll be driving, so hopefully we'll be blatting it up and down the road. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. And Nathan's Garage on Facebook, Nathan's Garage Official on Instagram, and Nathan's Garage on Twitter, which I'm doing a little bit more on right now. So, as I say, thanks for watching. See you next time.